Okay, so coming back from some technical difficulties, the memory card ran out. I was talking about making sure you let yourself get to here. Make yourself feel the arm getting behind, and what we don't want to do, I have a question from my peanut gallery here. What if we put the ball behind and the kid just kind of spins, and you end up putting a lot of stress on the elbow and get kind of like a push type throw? If the lat is activated in driving the upper arm in the throw, we're not going to get this rotational feel. If we get open correctly, and then you spin, I would love to see the kid do that. If they're using rotation, we have an issue where we might be spinning into the throw, getting the ball stuck behind the head. We're putting the ball behind the head for directional purposes. It's kind of like a pendulum swinging up. The whole system pivots, and then the pendulum swings forward. It's not a get the ball to the ear type thing. It's a smoothness, it's a rhythm thing. So when the ball comes up, the lower body will pivot forward, so that all the arm has to do is go in the direction of your target. So when we see pitchers and outfielders, when a pitcher or outfielder, let's talk outfielder first, when the outfielder takes a big arm circle, we're still seeing all of the same thing. Maybe they get their arm way out here, but they're still going to get to a point where this ball gets that turnover. When the ball and the elbow will trade places. So even, I have a clip of Larry Walker kind of going to the line, hops on his right foot, and he goes back to the ball facing away, which is something that I personally don't care for in terms of instruction. If the thrower does it and they still get to the right place, I don't mind. But typically what we see with instruction is break your hands into the, whatever, maybe the snake fangs pointing away from you, and you don't want them to get you like this. And then you see a demonstration like that. And that doesn't happen in the throw. This doesn't happen. If it does, they're not going to be throwing hard, they're going to be in pain. If they go from here to this position, it's a way of creating lag that ends up turning into momentum into the throw. So even if we get to here and we get the ball going this way, as the body turns, all of this direction gets redirected into a throw. So what else am I going to talk about? Do I have any other questions? My anonymous question asker. We're gonna pause the video so he can talk. Go ahead. Okay, so I just have the question, how do you stop spin? Where if the kid is doing this and they're spinning, how do you stop it? We have to eliminate rotation as an active power source in the throw. Now that might seem like a crazy idea to some people, but when we really take an honest look at the video, what we see is that the arm is not accelerating, truly accelerating in the direction, not directional acceleration. We're getting all sorts of movement. Lens comes way back here and then it pops way up. There's movement. Yes, there's kinetic energy building up. But if we're using rotation as a power source, there's a couple things that we're going to see. We'll see the back foot coming off the ground before the ball's released. We're going to see the shoulders pulling, and we may see things like the ball getting stuck in one place. This drill, in my opinion, is outstanding for fixing it because we're opening the body fully to the target. We're going to get fully open without even striding forward. We're just going to open up to get the feel of movement loading the body correctly. So we're going to create movement into direction. If we're already open, we don't need to spin anymore. We can use the lat, we can use arm extension, internal rotation, pronation to get this ball going in line with our target without having to spin, without having to rotate. Hopefully we're going to have another question. More like here? Okay. All right, so my next question from my peanut gallery is, what angle of the arm should it be? I'm going to recommend inside 90 degrees. So if this is 90, that's straight up and down. Okay. So inside 90 degrees. When I throw on high-speed video, or when I throw a ball, I don't have tremendous range of motion in my shoulder. And I used to think that this might not be possible for me to get to, like that position where you see some layback. And I'm not going to get like Billy Wagner style layback. But I can get the proper sequence, and when you watch the video, you can understand that it's going through the right pieces. The flexibility of each thrower is going to vary. When Austin, my business partner, when he throws, he gets to a point where the ball is actually coming down like this, almost in line with his bicep. Maybe sometimes even gets below the bicep, coming forward. Now, I can't do that. I can't even move that far. So the thrower, I would recommend experiment with it. See how far you can get. If you have pain, back off. But I don't think that keeping it at 90 is going to be very productive in this throw. I think the more, if you get inside 90, it's more efficient, it's more effective, and you can really get a sense of that change of direction better when you're inside of 90 versus keeping it an angle where you're out. You're going to end up putting more stress on the elbow. That's the answer to that question. Any more questions? Okay, my next question was, is there a standard for what degree this is? Is it a question of injury prevention, limiting risk of injury? And honestly, when I look at video, there's so many different varying angles. And without assessing each player individually, if I were just to watch somebody on video, I couldn't tell you what the perfect angle is for you. I can say that test out inside 90, test a little further, see what feels right, see what doesn't feel right, watch video, check it out, listen to your body. If you feel pain, shut it down, tweak the mechanics. Don't continue to do something that causes pain. If you feel pain, address it. Don't be foolish and continue to hurt yourself. I don't know that there's a standard, you should be at X number, because everybody's body's different. I know with Mike Marshall, the way that he has people throw with a pendulum swing, taking the ball up with the hand under the ball, that's supposed to limit risk of injury. And he's done a lot of work trying to prove that, trying to educate people on that. I don't know that there's an exact percent or exact angle, I should say, that is 100% accurate. So inside 90, test it out. The key, I think, is the sequence. And when you see the elbow and the ball trading places, in the video that I've seen of Marshall's throwers, even when he gets into here, he gets a degree of layback and directional change. He just doesn't get it from here. And his throwers don't get it from there. And what I see when I watch the video is that they're still getting this motion, they're just getting it from more of a pendulum swing, where this is more. And the troublesome thing is, if a kid's coming from here and they're popping it up and trying to like sling their arm back into this external rotation, like extreme layback, like you see some of these pictures on if you do a Google search for Billy Wagner, you're going to see his arm flat. It's horizontal, upper arm, forearm, crazy. If the transition from this position, and again, this is an arbitrary position, in a game, you could come straight up and still get to that position without having to like slam your arm back to create this false layback. Tim Lincecum, when he comes up, his arm transitions very smoothly. There's no harsh slamming down of his arm. And even when we watch Austin throw, he can get way down here and he can get all of this crazy range of motion with the ball dropping below the bicep and still get good extension, good direction with this throw. And I think that's the most important piece of this, is feeling the arm getting behind when you open the lower body and feeling good direction with the arm when you throw. The next question was, what would a doctor say? To be honest, I don't know the answer to that question. I'm basing this on the research that I do throwing myself, based on the video work that I do, and what high-level throwers are doing compared to what non-high-level players are doing. Typically, if there's a player in the major leagues that throws and has arm pain, I can pick up on those mechanics. I can see where the injuries would be happening, in my opinion. Am I a doctor? Certainly not a doctor. Through observation, through hours and hours and hours of study, I feel like I can tell when mechanics of healthy throwers versus non-healthy throwers jump out. And there's a drastic difference between what youth players are doing and what high-level throwers are doing. So, I really honestly couldn't say what a doctor would say, but I do know what physical therapists would say. I do know what are you writing? Craig Kimbrough. Thanks to Craig Kimbrough. I looked at some of his video, and I think there's some possibility for injury there. I think he doesn't use his back as well as he could. Stays a little more upright and could be problematic in the elbow area. But we'll see. Billy Wagner, we talked about Billy Wagner, extreme laid back, and again, he doesn't have a lot of bend in his delivery. His direction is very out to the side. His arm comes up late, and it has this extreme lay back. Is it worth the Hall of Fame career? That's the question. Risk reward, everybody's different. If you're getting to the point where you're limiting opportunity because of performance, it's a tough one to go by, and you gotta kind of handle it with the player and have a conversation. Typically, if you're dealing with a player like Billy Wagner, who has that incredible fast twitch muscle fiber, he's gonna throw hard. Period. You put a baseball in his hand, he's gonna throw it hard. So, could mechanics be developed that are safer? Possibly. Can you rewire his brain to make him do it consistently and perform at that level? I don't know the answer to that question. But I think you can definitely pick up on different patterns that create injuries more consistently than others. And I would definitely model after the high-level throwers that are not injury prone in what I teach. All right, well, I have no more questions from my anonymous guest here tonight. And thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, please let me know. This video could potentially be controversial. I understand that. This process of throwing is a drill. It is to establish a feel that can be brought into hitting, and it can be brought into any kind of throw that you're going to be making on the field. So try it out. Let me know what you think. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Again, thank you for your time.